Hello, my name is Andrew Ruffin, and I am writing on the topic of the shortage of sports officials in the state of Texas and how that is critically affecting the playing of the games and why that's important to not only the youth but the future of our country. I am a 5-year official, 10 years overall, 5 years under the TASO, Texas Association of Sports Officials. We have over the last 5 years seen a drastic decrease in people that want to come out and do what we do to help facilitate the game. Now, I'll tell you why that's important, because without officials, you can't play the game. Now, I'm sure high school athletics has affected each and every one of you. You remember playing basketball, football, running track, playing golf, whatever sport you were, but you never even noticed the officials. Or if you did, it's only when something blew up. You never stopped and thought, why are these guys here? What have they done to get here? What kind of training have they had? What kind of testing do they go to? And things of that nature. And I could tell you that the shortage has caused, not only are we having to have schools move their games, but some of them are just flat being canceled. And I think that's negatively affecting overall athletics. And what it affects is, think about the lessons that you learn in high school athletics. You learn about personal responsibility. You learn about accountability. You learn about teamwork. You learn about dedication. You learn all these things that are beneficial to you later in life when you start your professional career or in college or anything like that. You have to learn how to deal with adversity. You have to learn there are winners and losers in life. And, when you get past youth league, it's no longer everybody gets a trophy, which I can't stand anyway. There are winners and losers in life, and if you lose, then you learn from it and you go out and you win, and that applies to anything. But that teaches you how to deal with adversity. For instance, in football, when you work all week and you lose a game, then you know how to deal with that and go out and get better and don't do it the next week. So there's a few things we discovered, and we've really found that this is a complex problem, which qualifies it for an interdisciplinary research model, because it really requires 3 areas: sociology, marketing, and education. And if you can't just take any one of those areas of focus and isolate it and come up with your solution. You really have to blend all 3 together or synthesize it and come up with your solution. So education, for the fact that we have to train, and you are seeing nowadays officials that are first years that shouldn't be on a varsity are getting thrown out there because we need bodies to cover the games. And that's unfortunate because they're not prepared for the situations that they're in. You just can't be in the first year. You have to go through lots of time training. You have to go through and see plays at full speed, and you have to see these head-on collisions and let your eyes adjust to the speed of the game, is how we say it. So we have to educate and train better. We have to market better. We have to explain why we do what we do and how it's a benefit to society and how it benefits the kids, and show not only that is it us giving back to the youth and contributing to their future. It's very rewarding for us. There is a small financial compensation. It's not worth what we put into it. If you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But it does make it nice that, at the end of a season, you can save up enough money, maybe take a vacation somewhere. So we have to work on our marketing. We also have to work on sociology, and the way that applies is fan and coaches' behavior. We have to show them that their current way of behaving is not going to fly, for lack of better terms. They've become very abusive, past the point where it's, you're an official, you're supposed to have thick skin and just be able to take it. Well, yes, you're absolutely right. To a point, that is correct. But it's gotten so far beyond that, people are threatening to find you in the parking lot. And, we've had to have police escorts just because we called a holding penalty on their little Johnny. Heaven forbid. But that has to be educated, and through our study of them, show them that that's behavior is unacceptable, and coaches as well. Now I understand coaches are under stress. Their livelihood is dependent upon 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, uh, and how they play the games, and it wins and losses, and that determines whether or not that coach is going to have a job, which is going to put food on the table and a roof over the head. So at any given moment, a coach is coaching for his life, out there, trying to just win a ball game to save his job, and we get that. But still, there has to be a level of respect, and I think that's lacking. So that's our three areas of focus, and I wanted to share with you some of our research, and I went through a lot of articles that were written about high school and collegiate level and even in the NFL, and there was a running trend that kept saying that it's gotten out of control, the coaches' behavior, fans' behavior. In fact, one article was titled, "Is it time to start ejecting coaches from football games?" And it was specifically about the NCAA, and it did name a couple of coaches, one of which is in Ohio. He's pretty famous for belittling officials. Anyway, we take a look at that, and we also take a look at some of the causes of why people don't want to come out and do what we do. And I talked to a lot of fellow officials. I used on my own personal experience, things that I've been through, and had I not been so dedicated to it, I probably would have folded up shop and left a long time ago, because it's just flat not worth it sometimes. But then you have those moments when it's just really worthwhile. And that's really what we found in our throughout our research. The main things that I believe we can do, and this will bring us into our conclusion, there are 5 areas that I think if you do these things, you'll see an increase in people wanting to participate in sports officiating, and therefore improve the overall quality of the on-field product or on-court product, depending on what sports you're officiating, and really benefit the youth, which will then in turn benefit our society down the road. So number one, we need to increase the rate of pay in game fees. $60 for 3 hours of being belittled is just not worth it to most people. Somebody like me, I would do it for free, just because I love being out there. I love being with my football crew or basketball crew, and I love the camaraderie. But we need to increase the rate of pay, because it makes it worthwhile for those people to stick through those first couple of years where it's real rough. We need to educate fans on what behavior is acceptable and what is not. There is supporting your team and cheering, and there's questioning officials, which is all part of it. Then there's the threats, and the personal belittling that is over the line. We have to educate them that that's not acceptable. We need to educate coaches on what behavior is acceptable and what is not, as well as any consequences for violating said principles. And that's something that we have to get the University Interscholastic League and TASO, Texas Association of Sports Officials, involved and come up with policy that backs us up, so that if a coach gets out of hand, we have tools to handle it and not have to fear of retribution afterwards. We need to have more effective training for officials prior to being exposed to live varsity action. And we discussed that earlier about why that's important. And then the last thing, we need a more effective marketing program in order to recruit people to become officials. You can't just assume that people without any kind of marketing campaign will just naturally draw to your chapter, to your profession, and want to come do it. They just won't. They have to be told that, number one, it's there, because people don't think about it. Number two, why we feel it's important for you to come join, and then how it benefits them and the future of the society. So those things are critical. I can't imagine a world where we don't have high school athletics. I think it would be a detriment to our society, and we're quickly approaching a juncture that's very critical. And if we don't increase the number of good officials, young officials, we've got plenty that are 60 plus years old, but those guys are retiring, and then there's a huge gap, and we don't have people bringing up to fill in. So if we can do that and I really feel like that would be beneficial to everybody. If you live in Texas and you're interested, I would encourage you to go to www.taso, that's TASO.org, and check out your local chapters of whatever sport. Or, if you're in another state, Google is your friend. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you had a great semester. Congratulations, everybody that's graduating, and we'll see you out there.